I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
The craziest people in all of America are in the Bronx and all of Florida, and every other day, if not every day, I get proven right about this assessment now.
What's up, Alphas? It's me, your boy, Zelmay, and of course, Florida is crazy, and I want to talk to y'all about it. I've filmed this video multiple times, and because I want to get it right, because this is important. This is very important that I hit every note and let you understand why this is horrible news and why half of what some of you believe in or agree with this is completely wrong and out of line, or you're just a hypocrite who just likes to fake like you all holier than thou First Amendment, but you really don't. So let's go watch this story and learn what the Florida Board of Education did that was so bad.
We're high at today's Florida Department of Education meeting in Orlando. Marginalized groups and their supporters spoke out about feeling slighted by new school rules. Those changes and how African-American history is taught in Florida schools were at the top of today's agenda. News 6's Treasure Roberts says.
So they're teaching Black history, and then we want to go over how they teach it, okay.
Tracking the changes to your child's curriculum live from the newsroom.
Of course, they're going to have Black people there, right? You're going to have some Black people explaining the rules, at least in some way or form, right? That's how we're going to do this.
Tonight for us, Treasure.
Lisa, various groups believe the new academic standards for African-American history will omit or rewrite key historical facts about the Black experience. Despite heavy criticism, the Florida Department of Education approved new standards for social studies covering.
That's a great. We have this one Black guy right over there, and I don't even know if he's fully. Yeah, he's a Black guy. We have this Black dude, and a bunch of people who aren't. The whole school board aren't Black. Okay, all right. I just want to know who making the rules for telling us about Black history. I just want to make the rules so we all clear on who telling us how in Florida how Black history should be taught. I just want everybody to understand
African-American history. So what your children learn in class this upcoming school year will change. The new standards impact lessons for kindergarten students through high school. The kindergarten lesson will recognize African-American inventors and explorers. One of the many high school lessons examines the range.
How long y'all do Luther, Lewis Latimer? I'm just saying people like that. How long did you do that? All right, cool. I think that should be taught in schools. It's been skipped over. So I think that should be taught. Lewis Latimer, people who made the air conditioning, the street light, the ice cream cone, ironing board, all the cotton gin, many others, by the way. The cataract laser surgery helped invent Facebook. Not completed, but helped.
And variety of specialized roles performed by enslaved people. In the Department of Education meeting Wednesday.
Specialized roles by slavery. Interesting terminology.
Florida teachers objected to the new rules, asking the board to put the proposal on hold.
Our students deserve to be equipped with a comprehensive understanding of our nation's past, even if the history is unpleasant.
These new standards present only half the story and half the truth. When we name political figures who worked to end slavery, but leave anyone who worked to keep slavery legal nameless, kids are forced to fill in the blanks for themselves.
Florida Education Commissioner Manny Diaz pushed back against teachers and groups like the NAACP who claim the new standards censor history.
What we should be striving to do is provide our students with all of this information and let them formulate their own opinions.
That's the cheap way of lying and convincing your audience who might not know what you're doing. It's always the same thing. Let everybody form their own opinions while I'm trying to coerce you. Now, I know a lot of people like, Zell, you're using coercion wrong. That's not coercion. No, that's wrong, Zell. You're not using it. Because I'm going to break that down in a minute.
What true learning is.
Shelby Salem, a sophomore at Florida Atlantic University, attended the meeting.
By the way, start attending y'all meeting. Why are no more black people not at this meeting? Why are no more black people not at this meeting? But let's carry on. I just brought up something about coercion. We're going to go talk about it. All right, here it is right here. You can get your $2 for $1 a month. Meaning of coercion. The use of force to persuade someone to do something that they are unwilling to do. He claimed the police had used coercions, threats, and promises to obtain a statement illegally, causing somebody to act. Arm twisting. Now, how does this equal coercion? How does this equal what you said? There's no arm twisting. They don't have to teach it. But if I live my whole life in Florida and I want to be a teacher, and you're telling me I have to teach something I don't really believe in, and if not, you can just move. Go to another state. It's perfectly fine. You're using that as a coercive technique. You don't have to teach it. You could go anywhere else. You're using coercion because you know most people don't want to live their environment they are set in. Once I build a home here, once I make claim here, I want to be here. So even if teachers disagree with this, they're not going to move. They're not going to have a big boycott of Florida and all the teachers are going to leave. Their families here, their structure here. They live their lives that have created something there. They're not going to leave. You are arm twisting them. You say either do what I say or leave, knowing that they probably not going to leave due to your coercive techniques. Why? Because you created a standard. You have to teach this. This is a part of our curriculum. You cannot go outside of this thing I taught you. Slaves learned useful techniques during slavery. Slavery wasn't as bad. Slavery is embellished. It wasn't all good. We have to show you the things they learned. Look at all these inventors who literally had so bad, they had it so bad that they had to learn how to invent things to make their life better. We were picking cotton and it was rough and we wouldn't get no money off of it during Jim Crow. So let's make a cotton gin. Let's go do these things. It's the only way to make money as a black person. If you know the story of Lewis Latimer, you know Thomas Edison hired him. You notice a lot of inventors hired Lewis Latimer, one of the most brilliant men in U.S. history that you have never heard of. You don't even know that name. Yet you can come here and argue with me about who is teaching us what about black history. White people has always been in control of teaching black history. That's why you don't know who Lewis Latimer is. That's also why you don't know the next thing I'm going to show you. Why I think this coercion is terrible. Because, again, if you want to lay all the facts out there, you can come to Zell. I'll be that news will teach you black history. So let's do it. Nearly 24 black massacres happened in American history and no reparations. The reparation part we don't have to worry about. But let's do this. By the way, I want to go over what we talked about earlier with no black representation at all. I'm not saying white people can't have the discussion. I'm just saying at least be nice when you're talking about us, to have us represented somewhere, to have us actually help you with a decision, have us, somebody look like me, in the room, like, this is why we're teaching this. At least they don't even care if they show representation no more. They just like, yo, y'all doing what we say. Let's go over some of them. Let's go over one you might know. 1921 destruction of Tulsa wasn't the first or last race massacre that leveled homes, usurped land, or destroyed livelihoods in Black America. That's the one some of you know. Most people don't know none of that, right? Most people don't know that. But some of you do know about that. Apparently, as y'all don't know the history, some white man flirted with a black woman occasionally. So they bombed the whole city. By the way, at this event, all the smartest black people came together as businesses and was colluding together in this city of black excellence and was creating ideas and businesses. Black Wall Street, all that stuff. Okay, one of the first was 1863, sparked by a draft law. One of the last happened in 1923 in Rosewood, Florida. Of all places, Florida was the last one. So, of course, non-black people from Florida have our best interest. And the last one was in Florida. Whatever in the precipitating events, the desire was generally the same: destroy blackwards upward mobility. But y'all that don't know, every time they had one of these, every time they bombed black people, it was because all the smartest black people went together. That tell you something. That tell you why kind of like a lot of black people gave up on a lot of stuff. Below is a database of recorded massacres defined by the purpose of this project as one or more mob attacks on a black community that resulted in an aggregate loss of lives, home, land, and livelihood. The attacks frequently drove residents away from a community for good. In other instances, black residents hid in swamps and woods for days to escape death. Others tried to rebuild their town's former glory, but failed with little to no assistance from the surrounding community or government. One of the most frequently used justifications for attack, the rumor that an African-American male had assaulted a white female. The rumor of unfounded, frequently was smart, erroneous news reports. If y'all notice the theme, listen, I told y'all the story. I already knew the story. I didn't have to read this in no story. Okay, let's go through some of them. Let's go through a few of them. As we mentioned, Rosewood. Let's go over why Rosewood happened. A white mob shot, lynched, and killed resident of a black town road for a white woman, Fannie Taylor, claimed a black man broke into her home and assaulted her, igniting her husband, James Taylor, and the throng of white citizens, including members of the Ku Klux Klan, to search Rosewood for the man. At the end, violence, dozens were left killed, meaning they would have just murdered a lot of them. Let's go Atlanta, Georgia, 1906. A mob of white citizens began a 2-day massacre of black citizens in Atlanta. The emergence of black elite class fueled tension among white people in Atlanta again. Remember the last one was in Florida. This one is in Atlanta. They felt threatened by the growing number of black people in the city of Atlanta. Shout out, we thrived in that one. Let's go. Colfax, Louisiana. In 1872, after an even split across the racial line led to a Republican candidate for Louisiana governor, getting the backing of then President Ulysses S. Grant, a disgruntled white mob formed a white supremacy school called the White League. The group terrorized black people across the state. In April 1873, a militia of black men took control of the Grand Prairie courtyard to protect local power from being overthrown. By the way, if y'all don't know that, we might break that down. That's one of the first instances of the original gang that was made. It was based off this idea. Also, the Black Panthers was based off this idea. For people that don't know why the original gang was made, it was based off like a mob type deal. But that's another day for another history lesson. Group of 150 white men made up white leaguers, members of the Klan and former Confederate soldiers surrounded the courthouse. Gunfire was exchanged. 60 to 120 black men were killed. Wilmington, North Carolina. The nearly forgotten 1998 massacre in Wilmington, North Carolina was a result of coordinated statewide attacks on black newspapers. Getting out black information is illegal to white people. I did not know. Giving information to black people is illegal. I did not know. So you had to end it. Elaine, Arkansas, 1990. Out of fear of what black people organizers could do, a white mob of Elaine, Arkansas fired shots into a church where a group of black farmers were meeting. The farmers were returned fire and in a gunfight, white man was killed. The white man spread rumors that the group of black men was spearheading the insurrection, prompting to the governor to deploy soldiers to kill any Negro who refuses to surrender immediately. Listen, I ain't making this up. We giving a history lesson today, all right? By the way, black people didn't get nothing outside, I think, New York. East St. Louis, Illinois. South African man migrated to East St. Louis, Illinois to work in World War I era factories. In the spring of 1970, white laborers at the aluminum ore company went on strike, leading to a hire of 100 black people, escalating racial tension. On July 1st, a white man in a Ford drove into a black neighborhood and began shooting in homes. Black residents of the neighborhood armed themselves and fired into another Ford car coming down the street, killing 2 men there. The second car turned to the police officers who come to investigate the shooting. Following day, an angry white mob poured into the community and began brutalizing black people several days. Have y'all noticed a thing? Someone feels threatened by the idea of black people getting information, black people knowing things, black people getting jobs, black people being free, so we have to put a stop to it. And usually they say, if you not noticed, they usually use the government. If you not noticed, they go to the police, they go to the army, they get the National Guard. It's consent. The game plan doesn't change if y'all haven't noticed. Washington, D.C., 1919, a black woman, Louise Simmons, reported being attacked by a black man. Again, the same story. June 25th, 1990, which received little response from local newspapers. 5 days later, black woman says police did something. Again, black woman reported being attacked by a black man. Didn't do nothing. That's usually how it is, right? They don't care about us at all. 5 days later, a white woman reported being attacked by a black man, prompting immediate friends and a massacre of 39 African Americans. One person reportedly doing something, they just murder all of them. Y'all ain't notice a thing. Memphis, Tennessee, another black city. Following in the Civil War, a mob defeated white people in Memphis led to an unprovoked attack on black residents. They lost and they felt bad, so let's attack the white people. Clinton, Mississippi, 1875, on September 4th, formerly enslaved black people gathered for a political rally. We're going to get political. From former Moses Hill plantation ground, the rally was to get new eligible black people. Black people can vote. Let's get them together. White man heckled the Republican speaker, former Union Officer H.T. Fisher for telling lies. An argument ensued and white liners opened fire on the crowd, killing at least 5 black people. Again, Chicago, Illinois, another black state. After Great Migration, fewer Chicago black population, boom. The need for adequate housing became a touchstone for racial tension. Oh, black people can't get in our home. They can't live near us. This ain't to put fear in you. This ain't to say America now a lot better now. It's not saying any of that. My thing is, are you going to teach this too? Or are we going over this history lesson? Or are you going to say, oh, the one thing we have always taught you that slavery was bad, we're going to try to make it look a little better. Just so you can get all the information, so you can make up your own mind. That you can make up your own mind on this situation. That's why we're doing this, right? Are you going to give them this? Are you going to tell them, hey, white people weaponized the government against black people after slavery? Are you going to tell them about Jim Crow laws? Are you going to actually teach them about Lewis Latimer? Are you actually going to do it? Booker T. Washington? Are you going to actually teach the woman who helped with Facebook? Are you going to teach the woman who had the cataract surgery? Are you going to talk about Ruth Bath? Are you going to teach us about the people? Are you? Are you just going to say, hey, they made peanuts? And Martin Luther King, he might know Malcolm X because he's kind of famous. Had a movie about him. Will Smith played him. Are you going to teach him that? Or are you going to actually teach him? But listen, if you prove me wrong and you go out here and say, listen, we're going to tell you that black people in slavery did great because they learned how to do new techniques. They invented light bulbs during slavery and all of that. And Lewis Latimer, who was the son of a slave, went to war and fought for the country, came back and worked with Thomas Edison. But they tried to kill him because he was a slave, though. That's all the information. You go, hey, listen, you can make it, black people. I'm for it. And then you go teach them about all this as well. And listen, Florida, I will come on here and say you did your job so right. You gave them all the information. You might try to steal it, but you gave them all the information. But if you don't teach this, we have a problem. I do apologize this being a Monday, this episode being longer, but Florida is crazy. And I gotta go teach it. Peace.